teams here is just generally talks about macro, and they are very bad about micro plays, which can be, can come from, free freeze to just ganks to like failing dives, just a lot of things, right? So definitely sometimes you don't want to like do these limit things that I'm used to do in Europe, for example. I'm like, okay, like, if they spend that much resources on me, surely we are gonna get something on the other side, right?
All right, this is Azento from Esports Heaven, and I have here with me sOAZ from Immortals after losing against TSM and what I guess many could consider not super close at all either, let's be honest. But let's talk about that dive in the top lane at the very beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Super brutal. You died twice, and so I'm gonna set the premise here. People might think that it's super like int in order to TP back into that lane into 3 people, but I feel as though you had the choice of walking back and losing all of that XP and essentially dooming your lane anyways, or TPing back and kind of risking that whole play. So just walk me through, like, what were you thinking during that time? Maybe what was going on in the comms too?
We obviously know after that Lee Sin invaded and fortuned out that they could eventually look for a dive. I know that they cannot dive as 2, right? So they need mid lane to come, and it was pretty far. So I was thinking that I can just def the time that he comes. Then he decided to TP on the dive, right? So they will get this dive regardless because I'm just level 2.
Yeah.
And then so I die on the first dive, and on the second dive, I TP'd and got level 3. So I'm thinking that if they try to redive, I will take 1 or 2 with me. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad at all. It just also gives more free time to Trundle to either get camps on the bot side, or mid lane to push one more wave, or to make something else happen on the map. I'm just keeping them on the top side just longer, basically, right? So so it depends on what we actually get for them staying on top side.
So after the game, you made this hilarious tweet, and the only reason why I'm bringing it up is because it's in the post-match thread, and people have people screenshotted it already. So otherwise, I would normally not talk about it, but you had said something about being 1v3, especially alluding to the beginning of the game. So, did you just totally blank on you being ahead of the broadcast? Because you kind of sent it out early.
Oh yeah, we played a bit before, so I tweeted like 2 or 3 minutes after our game ended, and I didn't. Usually, I don't even tweet after game, so I didn't think of like the broadcast being later or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just funny to me because like they dove me twice, and then I almost got a solo kill on top lane after. Like he backed off with like 2 HP, and
yeah.
I actually had pressure even after all of that. So for me, it was just like a funny. Because also he made like this tweet, right, of what was it? There's like this meme or whatever, when he was playing 1v3 or something. Again, I don't remember against who it was. I think it was against EG, maybe.
Okay.
They split the map. They split the map on Broken Blade, right?
Yeah, I think I
Do you
kind of
remember this
remember what
tweet?
you were
It's like
talking about.
so
Yeah.
EG split the map on Broken Blade, and then Broken Blade did somewhat fine, or they won the game, right? They won the game when he was playing 1v3, and then he just tweeted, haha,
Yeah.
have fun splitting the map 1v3, you know. And for me, it was a bit like the similar, but we obviously
Yeah.
didn't won, right?
No,
It's like
no, no, I
I
see.
almost got the solo kill after they do that, you know, when it shouldn't even be close on top lane. But like I think I played my lane really well, honestly,
Yeah.
considering everything. And yeah, just unfortunate game.
So let's switch over to some in-game stuff, or more specifically, the meta. Why are we not seeing Wukong banned? Like, I just don't get it. LPL, it's banned over there. We've seen it over in EU.
Mm.
So what's going on with North America? How are scrims in terms of Wukong as a pick?
I mean, I play a bunch of Wukong myself. I think some people play it as well. It's I don't know. I think in NA, I feel like people are trying to play like more for like jungle, or they are. I mean, it's like they are not playing so much on like skirmishes and
Mm-hmm.
just dive and stuff like this naturally. So Wukong as a champion is like a lot of fighting, and I feel like in NA games needs to be a certain way for people to be comfortable playing them.
Mm-hmm.
Like they are not very good at like adapting to the games. So yeah, Wukong is like a lot of brawling, a lot of fighting, which I really like myself, you know. But it's not for everyone and for every team, right?
Yeah. So speaking of which, actually, you might be able to provide a lot of insight on this, because you're really famous for being able to escape crazy plays when the enemy sends too many resources down over to your lane, or up to your lane, I guess, too. And that requires you to split the map, essentially. But when it comes to North America, we're known for this NA RAM, so you can't really do that as much. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think as though you have to play a different style because you're in North America now, and you can't necessarily do this split style that you're known for?
I wouldn't say so much about like escaping or whatever. For me, I like to play off limits, and I know how much like, let's say people are coming towards my side of the map. I know exactly how much time like I can, make them spend or whatever on this side. If I want to, like I can also back off or whatever. But um, I mean, to answer your question, like a bit, I think, because as I said, I think teams here is just generally talks about macro,
Mm-hmm.
and they are very bad about micro plays, which
Mm.
can be, you know, can come from free freeze to just ganks to like failing dives, just a lot of
Yeah.
things, right? Um, so definitely sometimes you don't want to like uh, do these limit things that I'm used to do in Europe, for example. I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
like, if they spend that much resources on me, surely we are gonna
Yeah.
get something on the other side, right? Like they spend like 40 seconds there, like they have 4 members to kill me or whatever, right? So
Yeah.
surely, like I just watch the map before that happens, and I'm like, surely we'll get something, we might
Uh-huh.
get a turret and a half, and a kill or whatever, right? So we will get something. And
Hmm.
here it's not always like this, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it can make you think of like, like I'm not just gonna try these crazy plays, like I mean it's not
Mm-hmm.
that crazy, right? But sometimes you don't really get enough, and then it just makes you look bad when it should actually work, like
Yeah.
or should be able to get something out of it. So Um, I think generally just it doesn't always work.
Okay. It's very difficult, it sounds like. So let's skip over to Smithy because, now he's not on the starting roster. Like, what are your thoughts on this in general? Do you think you guys are being heavily affected by his absence?
I I think there's a lot of issues. Um, I mean, generally, like even in spring split, right? We are not like a great team.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, in the off season, we just try out, like we just played against our academy team, like for a
Oh,
week and
okay.
a half or something. And I think staff wanted to. I mean, we are just trying things out basically. Like they are
Mm-hmm.
just um, putting X player on this team and just trying to find like a dynamic.
Yeah.
Um, and so everyone just basically just played in the academy team for like a few days, right? And they just tried things out to see how they communicate, like this player communicate with the team,
Mm-hmm.
etc. So that's what staff did regarding to that.
Yeah.
And obviously he brings a lot of experience in his role. So I think surely there's a lot of things that are missing. Uh, and I mean, so far it's not. Obviously, after today, so far it's not working too well.
Yeah.
So we will see.
Okay. So additionally, your team has kind of been criticized, last split and also this split for just not having enough seemingly hard carry players, right? People that are very aggressive when it comes to their play style. What are your thoughts on this criticism?
Aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't call it aggressivity. Like I think the term is wrong in my opinion. Um, it's more about not in sync and not knowing which fight is good, which fight is
Mm.
bad, or to do a lot of like certain things. Um, so I wouldn't say it's about aggressivity.
Mm.
Is just a whole bunch of different things.
So finally, uh, there's been a lot of talk about age in esports, and this comes up, probably every year. I want to say,
Yeah.
uh, you know, and you being the old fucking man, what are your thoughts on age in esports? And this especially is getting brought up too because Smithy, I believe he's what older than you by like 2-3 years, something like
Yeah,
that.
I think he's 3 years, 4 years older, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So crazy, right? But you
Yeah.
both are still in the higher end. So what's your opinion on being written off, I guess, so to speak, because people think that you're too old to play or Smithy is too old to play.
Mm, I don't think it necessarily affects. Like, I think it just comes down to motivation and how happy you are to like be playing and be in your team and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, the year that I was like the most confident, I would say, in myself is probably like my last year in Fnatic, for example. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I was like what? I was 24. I was 23 or 24.
Okay.
So I mean, it's not like super long ago, and so I don't think you don't need to be like 18 or whatever to be
Mm-hmm.
at your peak. I think you can be 26 and be at your peak. Like I think it's just because when people are aging, I think they just find different hobbies and they don't find League of Legends as uh, League of Legends and esport as like their main source of happiness anymore,
Mm.
and they find happiness in other things, which can be anything really, you know. And that's why I think when people get older, they they are not as motivated to play anymore, and they don't find true happiness in just playing League of Legends, so they just drift away from that, and that's what I think makes them worse.
Mm.
Makes them worse at some point, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think it's like because you're aging is just correlated to like other things.
Mm. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for the interview, sOAZ. This has been
Yeah.
Azento from Esports Heaven and sOAZ from Immortals. Thank you.
Thank you very much.